it's not Jack Daniels.
Here's my audience. Alright, good evening. My name is Matthew Haller. Year's 2012. I'm a criminal justice major with a minor in history. I'm from Belton, Missouri. I was born in San Diego, California to a Navy father who is also retired Navy. Grew up in Seattle, Washington, Kansas City, Missouri, Belton, Missouri, where I graduated from high school at. On the day I was born, March 10th, 1977, the rings of Uranus were discovered. So I guess that's pretty cool. There were a bunch of other actors and musicians that were born or died on that day as well. I am a twice divorced father, with one 3-year-old daughter. And I've been in the Army for 17 and a half years as a military policeman, which other qualifications I have is traffic accident investigator, military police investigator, standardized field sobriety test instructor. I'm air assault qualified, so I rappel out of helicopters for those who don't know what that is, amongst other things. I've been deployed 5 times, twice to Egypt, twice to Iraq, and once to Afghanistan, where I received a Purple Heart when I was in Afghanistan for being injured in combat. When I decided I wanted to join the Army was during high school when I lost my full ride scholarship to Missouri University for wrestling for getting in a fight. So I decided I wanted to go in the Army. Also to get experience as a policeman, so that way when I got out I could be a policeman, because most departments back home wouldn't hire you unless you were 21 years of age or older, and most of them had to have at least a 2-year degree. So I figured going in as a military policeman would give me that experience, so when I got out after my first 5-year enlistment, I could go right into it. Well, while I was in my first term, I decided I loved it, re-enlisted, and I've kept re-enlisting over the last 17 and a half years, and decided I was going to go for the long haul and retire, which will be in 2.5 years. Since I've been in the Army, I've decided that I don't want to be a policeman anymore when I get out, although I will have that as a fallback, and possibly do some reserve police officer time, so that way when I'm not teaching during the summers, because I want to be a history teacher now, I can possibly work as a reserve officer and still bring in some extra income. Then the reason I decided I wanted to be a history teacher, it was about 3.5 years ago when I was an instructor at the Fort Polk Non-Commissioned Officers Academy, and I decided I really loved teaching. And since history is my favorite subject, I decided to add history as a minor on my bachelor's, so that way I could have the education I needed to be a history teacher when I retire. And therefore, that's why I want to be a history teacher. Thank you. So that was 4 minutes?
No, 4 minutes, 4 seconds.